Hello friends and welcome to my channel. My name is Jess. I'm so glad that you guys are joining me today because we are continuing on our planner piece conversation, but we are also going to be talking about planner lineups, and I want to kind of share with you the hows and the whys of picking my planner lineup, and I'm going to be primarily focusing on 2024. So if you want to chat with me and you want to kind of see my method to see if maybe it'll work for you, grab your stuff, grab a drink, grab some food, your fur babies, whatever, and let's go ahead and jump in. So for starters, when I like to pick my lineup, I really like to make sure that I'm writing everything down. You can definitely do this as a mental list. However, I assure you, it'll be so much easier if you write down everything on paper, because then that way you can really focus on what you are looking at. So for starters, this is my Happy Planner Dot Grid notebook. I have basically been using this for journaling, but I decided I also wanted to kind of incorporate it and use it for other things as well. So I do have like a bunch of journaling pages. I have a bookshelf in there. I also have some blank pages decorated up, and these are going to be used for journaling. But I decided I wanted to use a couple pages to be able to plan out my 2024 planner lineup. So I have been paper planning, and I've been using the Happy Planner since 2019. I actually started using it early 2019, like January. So I've been at this for 5 years now? 2024 is going to be my 5th year. So I've really kind of learned what planners work for me and how I need to use my planners. However, if you are newer to Happy Planner, you could definitely still take these ideas, but you might need to kind of switch them around a little bit. One of my biggest tips is try to get away from the idea that you have to use everything. Because trust me when I say you don't have to use everything. You don't have to use all planner brands. You can be able to find those planner brands that really fit your style the most and stick with those. So let's first talk about how I set this page up. For those who want to know, the stickers come from JoJo Apple Prints. I will also link her below as well. These are like some of her older stickers, but I really, really love them, and I just kind of figured that they would be fun for my page. But anyways, let me kind of explain how I have this set up. So this page is where I'm going to be writing down the areas of my life that I am going to need a planner for. And then this page is where I'm going to be listing out the dated planners that I have and the undated planners that I have. One reason why I really love the undated planners is because I can be able to switch out the layouts depending on my need. I am the type of person that I like the idea of using the same planner the entire year. However, my brain craves change. It craves creativity, and sometimes I need that change in order to be creative. So you have to really consider what is going to work best for you and what is going to work best for your brain and what is going to work best for your life. Just because I'm doing something doesn't mean that it's going to work for every other person. So let's go ahead and start going through my dated planners first. I've actually already done this on another page, but for the purpose of this video, I'm moving it to the Dot Grid notebook. So in terms of my dated, I have 5 options available to me. So I have 2 verticals, which I am going to list out as A and vertical B. And then I have a dashboard. I have a monthly, and I have a checklist. Now, what is really important for me to note is that the checklist is actually a partial, because there is going to be some months that I do not have of 2024 because I used them in 2023. So I'm perfectly okay with not even using the checklist next year unless I use it for only a few months. But we'll kind of get into that later on. And then for my undated, we have, and when I list out the undated, I am listing out anything that does not have a date. So that could be dot grid notebooks, that could be guided journals, it could even be other brand planners. So for instance, I have 2 horizontal undated. Now, let me also kind of clarify something. Just because I say that I have something right now, it doesn't mean that I have it physically in hand. However, like for my horizontal, I have 1 currently. It's not a full year, it's a partial year, but I fully plan on buying another horizontal undated with Happy Planners winter release. So this is kind of also my pre-release purchase list of the planners that I may need to buy. So horizontal A and horizontal B. You know what, actually what we're gonna do, there is an hourly planner that I have been considering buying. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put in the hourly because that's something that I can buy. I don't know what's the chance of them coming out with an hourly. I kind of am hoping that they may come out with a checklist undated. So this could slightly change between like an hourly and a checklist. It really just depends on what they come out with. But I'm gonna kind of leave that right there. And then I have a Keleva Plan reading planner. And then I have a goals guided journal. This is one that I bought last year that kind of figured, you know what, I can go ahead and use it this year. And then there is a journaling guided journal. And this is again something that I already have. It's a matter of I really, really want to use it. And then I have 3 dot grid notebooks. So we're gonna go dot grid A, dot grid B, and dot grid C. I have already gotten A has already been delivered, and then I have B was an order that B and C I placed the order with Happy Planner just this past weekend. And I'll kind of explain why. So first step for the house is make a list of the planners, journals, notebooks that you have and you fully intend to use or you want to try to use. Next step is to figure out what areas of your life are you wanting to plan. So for instance, I know for a fact that I want to do a reading. I want to have a way to do my wellness. I want to have something for social media. I don't know what I started to write there. Socially? What? I think I was thinking of something else at the same time. So social media. I want to have a catch-all, which is basically what I like to incorporate with my home life, anything for my son, just kind of anything like in my regular life that is separate from content creating and social media. And then, of course, I want to have my daily, which basically encompasses everything. So daily is actually super easy because what I decided on is I'm going to be using Dot Grid notebooks next year. I don't know if I am going to need 2 or if I'm going to need 3, but I am currently planning on having 2. And then if I need to purchase the third one, that's no problem. I also have other A5 notebooks, but for the purpose of this list, I'm only giving myself space for 3 of them. So let's kind of talk about the whys. Why am I choosing Dot Grid notebooks? So if you have been following my planner, my video, my channel, you know that I use the Happy Planner Daily pages. So these are the Happy Planner Daily. I love them. They are undated. They have a checklist down the side. They have a dot grid. They have 2 boxes. These are just like my absolute favorite pages. These are my favorite way to plan. Well, if you also recall from my channel earlier this year, I was using a Dot Grid notebook as a bujo for my weekly, and there was actually, let's see if I can find them. There was like a week that I was creating bujo pages in my Dot Grid, daily bujo pages in my Dot Grid, and I absolutely loved it because I could be able to literally set up the pages exactly what I needed. So this was a lot of fun. What I found though was doing this in my bujo and in the daily Happy Planner was just way too much work, and it wasn't worth it for me. So I fully intend to be doing these pages in Dot Grid notebooks. Number 1, this gives me that creative freedom. It allows me to create a structured page that doesn't have too much structure, and it gives me the flexibility to make it work for me depending on the day, because different days, different needs, right? So next year, my daily is 100% going to be in the bullet journal. I am super excited about that as well. So that's why I'm having Dot Grid notebooks. Like I mentioned, I don't know if I'm going to need 2 or if I'm going to need 3, but I will kind of see how the year goes. So the next one that I'm going to focus on is going to be my catch-all. So my catch-all, I need to have a weekly. And I basically need to be able to plan for daily to-dos, but then also I need to be able to plan for appointments, for my son's work schedule, for things going on, like if we have like if he was to have a school meeting at a certain time, or if I was meeting up with friends at a certain time, that sort of thing. So it has to be a weekly. So what I was thinking, that I would either use one of my dated, whether it is a vertical or whether it is a dashboard, but I would give myself the freedom of using one of my undated planners if I didn't want to use the dated. So dated may be used monthly only, but maybe I'll switch it out with the checklist, or maybe I'll switch it out with a horizontal one week, or maybe I'll use a vertical that week. I want to give myself the flexibility. So what I am going to put here is I'm basically going to do vertical planner. Oh, and by the way, after I put them on here, I am checking them off, because then that way I know for a fact it has already been used up. So I'm going to be putting on the catch-all vertical dated. I think I'm just going to put vertical because it's like there. But then I'm going to put plus change when needed. And that change is either going to be the dashboard, or it's going to be the checklist, or it's going to be the horizontal. So those are kind of the options that I am looking at. So here it is going to be, I'm going to put down dashboard, checklist, and horizontal. I had to look at how I was spelling it. So now I'm going to check off the vertical. I'm going to check off dashboard, and I'm going to check off the checklist, and I'm going to check off one of the horizontals. So now we are going to go to the social media. So social media, I want to specifically use the monthly layout because of the fact that it actually offers something that I feel like would be really beneficial for me when planning for social media. So the monthly layout, it has your monthly calendar, and then it has these dashboard pages, which to me, this is enough flexibility that I can be able to change how I use it, kind of depending on my needs. And then it offers checklist pages. I'm not going to be using these checklist pages for the month though, because I want to use an hourly layout next year. So this is what I'm going to do for this one, is we are going to do, I guess I need to put a dot down. We are going to do the monthly plus, actually, I want to kind of keep this similar to how I did the catch-all. Monthly plus change, or actually, wait, hold on. Sorry. I'm getting stuck. Okay, so monthly plus the hourly or horizontal. Okay, so then that way, basically, it will allow myself to say, I'm going to be using the monthly planner. And if I can find an hourly, we're going to try that. Or I'm going to use the horizontal that is undated. I don't want to have to date. And the reason why I'm kind of combining two planners is because I don't want to have to date up the monthly. I don't like dating up monthly calendars. So here's one of my horizontal. So you have the monthly calendar that is completely undated. I don't want to have to date this up. I don't mind dating up the weekly. To me, in the way that my brain processes it, this is very different than having to date up all of this. So I don't mind dating up the weekly, but I don't want to date up the monthly. So my thought is use a calendar from a dated planner with an undated weekly. It's kind of like the best of both worlds. So let me also kind of explain why I'm choosing the layouts that I am specifically for social media. So for social media, I like to track my to-dos. What do I need to do in terms of getting stuff ready to post? What do I need to record? What do I need to take photos of? Do I have any type of deadlines that have to be met if I'm working PR for a company, that sort of thing. So I know for a fact that the horizontal layout works for me. But what I would love to try is the hourly layout. And that's one reason why I'm giving myself the flexibility of two planners. So if the hourly doesn't work, I know for a fact that the horizontal is going to. So the hourly will basically allow me to time block my day. If there's a portion of the day that maybe I'm working and I'm like my 9 to 5 job and I'm not going to be doing content creating, I can put a box there. Like, I wish I had an hourly layout with me so I could kind of show you. But with the hourly, I can be able to put a box in a section that I'm working my regular job, as to kind of list out some to-dos. And then I can be able to time block the hours that I am spending on content creating. So when I try to figure out what layouts do I want to do, I really try to look at what is going to work best for me. Not just, oh, this is a pretty layout, this is what I want to use. It's, is it going to work for me? And do I have flexibility in how I use the layout? By really focusing on those questions, I know for a fact I have a stronger chance of achieving some form of planner peace in using my planners. So then let's go ahead. Oh, and then also for social media, before I move on to the next one, I mentioned the guided journals. So the goals guided journal is one I am going to try to incorporate. So again, if you watched my planner piece, you saw that I've been struggling with the daily grind planner. So because I feel almost positive that the daily grind is not going to work for me, I'm going to be giving the goals guided journal a chance, and I'm going to see if that helps. But again, I'm giving myself flexibility that if it doesn't, I'm not going to beat myself up about it. Okay, so then let's mark that one off. So as you see, my list of available planners is definitely shrinking. So next, we're going to go to wellness. So wellness, this one I took a lot of time to really think about what I wanted to do. So Happy Planner has come out with a couple of different wellness planners, which I have tried to use. I have a mini of one of them. Okay, so here's my mini wellness. I tried to use it, and I have basically learned that the wellness layout just doesn't work for me. So you can track like little wellness priorities. You can write down notes about today, write down notes about your movement. And then you have a take note section that has little headers to kind of give you like some prompts. So what are you reflecting on? What was today like? What are you thankful for? Focusing on, looking inward, daily gratitude, and loving this. I have learned this does not work for me. So when I look at the wellness planners that came out in the fall release, I almost purchased one, and then I told myself, wait a minute, Jessica, let's look back at the past years. At what point of time have you used a wellness planner, and has it actually worked for you? So then my next thought was, okay, well, maybe there's a different kind of planner. So my next thought was, what other planners have I tried to use for wellness? Well, I used the checklist, and some days it worked great, or some weeks it worked great, I guess I should say. Other weeks it didn't. So when I look at my future planner lineups, I try to be really honest with myself in, is this planner going to work for me, or is it going to be the same shit, different day sort of situation where sometimes I'm using it, sometimes I'm not. So again, don't just grab a planner because everybody else is using it. You have to really consider, is it something that is working for you? And if it's not, change it up. So what I decided for my wellness is I need to give myself more flexibility. I don't necessarily need structure. I don't necessarily always need prompts. And wellness is one that I'm really conflicted on. And you'll kind of understand why I'm conflicted on it in just a minute. So like I mentioned, I've been using this, been giving myself room to journal I mean, I love it. I love being creative with the stickers. It makes me so incredibly happy. This is like pure flexibility right here. But this also doesn't restrict me in having blank space if I don't write in a day, unless I just decorate and I never write in it. I skip to the next day, which is bound to happen, whatever. But it's different than a week where maybe I'll journal on Monday and Tuesday. I will skip Wednesday through Friday, and then I'll journal on Saturday and Sunday. With a dot grid notebook, I can be able to journal as I please when it's needed. I will always aim for journaling on a daily basis, but I have the ability to give myself a lot more grace in a dot grid notebook if I don't journal on a daily basis. So I am listing down dot grid C. Most likely what I'll be doing is I will be finishing out this notebook and then I will be moving on to dot grid C, but I'm just pretending like we are starting with a brand new notebook because who knows what's going to happen this year. Now here's where my conflict comes in. I have a journaling guided journal that I desperately want to use. I have tried it so many times, but I feel really bad if I don't do it every single day because of how it is set up. So I am going to try to figure out what can I take out of the guided journal to make it so it gives me the same flexibility that a dot grid notebook does. But if I'm stuck on a day and I don't know what to journal, I can be able to utilize the prompts to try to help inspire me. So why am I going back to the guided journal? Because I am a glutton for punishment. And because I bought these journals and I desperately want to use them. But I have to figure out how can I make them work for me. All right, let's move on. We got that down. So next we have my reading. I don't have it written. Actually, I need to write it down. My homemade reading journal, which I'm so behind on. We're not going to talk about how behind I am on it. Okay, so number one, I have the Keleva Plan Reading Planner. Now, reading is another one where I'm kind of conflicted. Because number one, obviously, I want to do my reading journal. And this is like my one that is going to be a combination of Happy Planner monthly calendars and pages that I create. But I'm really tempted to include the Keleva Plan reading planner because of the weekly pages. So I'm going to go ahead. This is one of the ones that I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to include it. But if I don't use it, I am going to be perfectly okay with it. Or maybe there's going to be some pages from her planner that I incorporate into my reading journal. That's kind of one of the things that I have to figure out. But that being said, I have literally everything checked off with the exception of a vertical that is probably not going to be used, but I have extra pages. So if I just wanted to have fun and create planner spreads, I can. If I needed to create planner spreads for content, as part of PR, I have that ability. Or maybe I decide that I want to use it for social media. Maybe I decide I want to use it for wellness. I have that flexibility. So when you really take a look at your planner lineup and you take a look at how can you figure out what planners work best for you, I feel confident that this is going to help me achieve planner peace when I'm going into 2024. Now, this is something that I do usually every 6 months. So when I'm looking into the beginning of the year and when we are approaching July, I like to revisit my planner lineup as well. But this is also something that you can be able to review as you are noticing a decline with using your planners. If you're not using it, it means that it's not working for you and you've got to reevaluate it. If you have questions or if you have comments and you want me to answer them, to address them, to kind of provide a little bit of more information for how I pick my planner lineup, drop those questions in the comments and I'm happy to do a follow-up video. Thank you guys so much. I really, really hope that this was beneficial to you. Thumbs up, subscribe, click that notification bell, and I will see you on my next video. Bye. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to subscribe and enjoy the next video.